have here a 2012 Volkswagen CC. It has the 2.0 liter TSI engine with a CCT letter code, and the customer complains that it hardly runs. We did drive it into the bay, but it ran absolutely terrible. Sometimes it won't start also. Maybe I can demonstrate both those problems for you. Let's give it a try. Okay, so it did start up this time. Tire pressure monitoring light, I guess, is irrelevant. And low fuel lights on. Low coolant. I don't know if that relates to our problem or not. Let's take a look under the hood. I don't know how well it's coming across on camera, but the engine is stumbling like it's misfiring constantly right now. Oh, and there goes the check engine light, so it is misfiring. Taking this shot right here to try and show you that the engine is shaking and misfiring. And since it's misfiring, we'll pull up misfire counters and, well, we need to scan it for trouble codes, but we'll pull up misfire counters as soon as we scan it. All right, let's see what trouble codes we got. Cam position sensor G40, P0341 implausible signal. Oh, a lot of times the timing chain causes that code. Random misfire. Idle control system. Cylinder 1 misfire, cylinder 3 misfire, cylinder 2 misfire, cylinder 4 misfire. Honestly though, the timing chain being off a tooth might explain all these codes: the misfiring, the idle control system, and the cam position sensor implausible. So I guess we'll go ahead and look at our misfire counters. 15 and 16. Lots of misfires on all of them. Like I said, the timing chain would explain that. Obviously we didn't have 4 coils fail at once or 4 injectors fail at once. Probably don't have a burnt valve on 4 cylinders all at once. So I'm going to try and demonstrate the no start problem. Sometimes customer says that if they try and restart it, it won't start. Let's see what we can do here. Simply going to shut it off and then restart it and see if it restarts. Well, not going to be able to duplicate that portion of it for the video. So I wanted to shut it off because it was misfiring so bad we don't want to damage the cat, and also the coolant level is a little low. I did another video on this same engine with a timing problem, and if you click this card right here, you can watch that video. If I remember right, there was a second video where the car, after we did a upper engine rebuild, head work, the car came back with a timing related trouble code. But that one was just low on oil. But if you want to watch that one's up there also. And but we have a lot of experience with these engines. So and what I did in the first video was I checked timing with a scan tool. You can do that real easy with VAGCOM or another full function scan tool. Let me show you how to do that. Of course, as soon as I try to start this thing in order to run that test on the camshaft timing, it won't start. So maybe I can duplicate the no start condition for you. So there's the no start problem. But almost always when it does this, you can try again and it'll start. and for sure if you wait long enough it'll start, but there it goes. So now we're going to go into VAGCOM to do the camshaft test, camshaft timing test. Go to basic settings, and then there's a drop down box for camshaft adjustment for intake, and click on, and then if you hold the brakes and push full throttle, it will go into the test mode. So I'm holding the brakes and I went to full throttle, and it changes there, and you see that 28 degrees of crankshaft rotation should change. It should go all the way to approximately negative 28, and you see it's doing nothing, so our camshaft isn't adjusting. That 10 times means you could do this test 10 times, so I'm going to do it again, full throttle, and then the test starts happening, and you see it's stuck there at 28 degrees of camshaft rotation. You can also go into measuring blocks, and if I remember right, it's field 91 or group 91, and over here you can see the specified and actual what the camshaft should be. It's like that because it's in a default mode. The computer is not controlling the cam timing because that trouble code is there. Now let's go ahead and clear that code, or all those codes I guess I should say. And that incorrect correlation reoccurred immediately, so we're probably not going to be able to do anything here. But that's in default. If we rev the engine, it should change, but it's not. So this certainly could possibly be a chain off one tooth, but it also could be a problem with the solenoid that controls the camshaft timing, or maybe the valve behind it. And the way to know that, it's real easy to pull off. You just pull it off and inspect. We don't need to break out a scope or check cam to crank correlation. We don't need to put in cylinder pressure transducer in it at this point anyway. But let's pull that solenoid out and see what it shows. Now that we have this out, we can look at this and see if it's stuck, and see it moves real easy. Obviously it's not stuck. Be sure and check the video on the cards for the one we diagnosed that was stuck. And then after you have that out, you take a look inside. So there we can see the problem. This valve is projecting outwards. It should be in there flush with where it seats. That valve actually rides inside it's the bolt that retains the cam phaser, and inside the bolt I have a new one here. Let me grab it. Inside this is the bolt. See the threads there? Inside there's a valve, and see how that's sitting flush with that surface right there. But this one is busted and came out. So there's our problem, and that quick visual inspection is much faster than scoping. And if that wasn't broken and an obvious problem, we may have to put this cam solenoid back in and do some more testing, but I don't think we need to do that on this one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this cover and take a look, because I am very concerned that this timing chain may be wore out. And just as an interesting side note, although I've seen this problem before, and Bernie Thompson did make a video showing a diagnosis of this type of problem. I'll link to his video up in the cards, and you should watch that video to see a much more advanced method of diagnosing this. Spend a little bit more time than I think is necessary, but the quick visual inspection is key here, where it saves you a whole bunch of time. You can see the problem very obvious. We'll pull that cover. Okay, what we did to break this loose was we stuck this screwdriver in here and stuck it into the teeth to counterhold, to hold the phaser or the gear from turning. And the reason we did that is because of this plastic tensioner. Is because of this plastic rail or guide, this plastic guide, and over here there's another plastic guide. Oh, by the way, this is the tool that gets it out, the T0342. Interesting part about it is this isn't the one that fits the one we're replacing it with. So there we go. And the one we're replacing with takes a different tool. See how these holes are directly in line with the center. The replacement one, they are not. So it takes a different tool to install it, which is this one. This one's not going to be readable, but it's T10351A. Of course, being a Volkswagen shop, we have the whole set of 5. So in with the new bolt. Okay, as I said, the one going back, the new valve takes a different tool going back together. Not a problem for me because I have the set, but it's going to be really annoying for a do-it-yourselfer if the one you're going back with is different than the one you purchased to do the job. It's 20 Newton meters to torque this to, or 14.7. We're going to round it to 15 foot-pounds. Okay, I got Cameron counter holding this gear to where it doesn't turn, and I'm going to have to turn my torque wrench to off. I've already set it to our 15 foot-pounds, and man, that don't seem like very much torque for that. Okay, just now we set this thing at top dead center, and we can see the timing mark here and the timing mark here, and there's 9 links between them, so this thing should be in time. So this is probably going to be a good fix. Please refer to your service information if you're trying to time one of these or check the timing. We finished up the installation of our oil control valve, and obviously we need a new gasket there, and we going to start it up. See, this thing was running pretty bad before. It would misfire and shake and stumble, and it was running so bad it barely pulled in the bay. Let's see how it runs now. Obviously it's running pretty good. You can rev the engine, it comes up. Doesn't seem to be misfiring or anything. But the true test would be to run the output test. We must need to burp our coolant because our coolant light started flashing, but the real test is going to be to run a basic settings test for the cam control and see if it's able to control the camshaft timing. And we click on here, and if you remember, we have to hold the brakes and go to full throttle, and then the engine starts revving on its own, and it'll show test on eventually. And then right now it's controlling the camshaft to maximum advance, and now it's taking it to maximum retard, and you can see there it's working. And we'll let off our foot, and then we'll do that one more time just to be sure. And we'll step on to the floor, and it starts controlling the throttle, and right now it's controlling it to maximum advanced, and then it starts retarding it, and it's misfiring a little bit right now because it's maximum retard, and then it goes back to maximum advance. Now we'll go back, and I think I showed in the video that this thing was misfiring, so we might as well go in and verify it's not misfiring now. That's 15 and 16. And it's not showing any misfires. We'll go in clear codes. Nothing reoccurred immediately. We'll go back in and check codes again just to be sure that nothing reoccurs. And that timing code was reoccurring immediately. So, probably a fixed car. We'll go road test to make sure no codes reoccur, but this customer should be pretty happy. But, just on a side note, this car has 232,000 miles, and if this timing chain has not been replaced, or if the customer doesn't know when it's been replaced, it needs to be done. It's a ticking time bomb. I'm recommending changing it every 100,000 miles. So I can't imagine that this thing wasn't changed at some point in this car's life, but if it was changed at 100K and now he's at 132K after that, then he needs to change it now. So there's going to be a strong recommendation to replace the timing chain. Whether or not they do it is their concern, but right now I'm going to go road test this and verify this car is fixed. We have just returned from the test drive on this CC, and although the low fuel light, tire pressure monitoring, and bulb lights on, the check engine light has not returned, and we'll go in and make sure no codes have reoccurred. And they have not. So I'm pretty confident this is a fixed vehicle. I'm going to talk to the customer about a timing chain job, but the oil control valve by itself fixed the problem. Okay, I've decided to take this apart to see if I can see what's wrong with it. Now remember from earlier in the video, this portion right here should be flush, and that should be down in there like that. So I know from previous experience this part will come apart. I know that because we've taken them apart and found this piece broken out of there. Of course we replaced it in those situations, but there's a spring and a retainer there. And then I'm pretty sure this whole sleeve comes out at that point. Now there's a snap ring here also, which comes out relatively easy. Hope I don't launch it, which I guess it don't matter. This is a junk part anyway. But there's that snap ring. I know that snap ring is designed to keep this surface from coming out. Now, but that isn't our problem. That surface is held right where it's supposed to. Our problem is this surface is coming out, and so it almost seems like this surface is pressed into that, to the outer sleeve, and it's moved in the outer sleeve. I'm going to go get a hammer and see if I can't tap that back in. Now if this goes back in, then we'll know that's our problem. Not saying we should have fixed this one, because it certainly would move again. And so I guess we know that's our cause of failure there, that part is pressed into place there and it moves out of position. Probably as it heat cycles a bunch of times, it loses its press fit and then slides out. Now if you remember right, this part did last 232,000 miles. That isn't too bad, but maybe when they built it they should have put a ledge in there, or a snap ring, or some type of friction weld or something to where it would stay in place permanently. And hopefully replacements are updated to where the same thing won't happen. These things here, like I said, they've popped out before, so this could be an area where it needs to be replaced also. I don't know if I'd trust it, but anyway, that's what was wrong with it. Well, it's the next morning and we're trying to pull this vehicle out of the bay, and as we did, we can feel that it's misfiring, and there goes the check engine light flashing. And I got the scanner hooked up and I'm trying to get some fault codes here. Random misfire and cylinder 3 misfire. Now understand, this vehicle ran flawlessly yesterday after we finished the repair, so we're going to go to 15 and 16, and obviously we can see cylinder 3 misfiring pretty good. And so this may be the subject of another diagnostic video, or maybe we'll just slap it in the end of this video. But this car was definitely running perfect yesterday, no misfires, and we road tested the car, everything was great, but this morning it's got a little misfire. The headliner portion of the sunshade is hanging down. If you've learned anything or enjoyed this video, be sure and click the like button. And if you'd like to donate to the continued production of these videos, visit my website at www.kansascitytdi.com. And if you want to watch another video, click that link right there. There's another video for my channel, and don't forget to click the subscribe button.